We all remember those no-look passes from Patrick Mahomes, right? They just seem to defy physics. They're everywhere online.
Oh, yeah.
But what if I told you that those highlight reel plays, they're not even the most impressive part of his game?
Interesting.
You sent us a ton of stuff about Mahomes, articles, game recaps, even his Wikipedia page.
Oh, wow.
So today we're going deep, a real deep dive into the career of Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
Tracing his journey, from that young gunslinger to the most dominant player in the NFL.
Yeah, and what's so interesting is when you really look at all this stuff, you see someone who is way more calculated, way more strategic than just a guy with a strong arm.
That's a good point.
Oh.
Okay, so let's rewind all the way back to Mahomes' high school days.
All right.
His Wikipedia page mentions that he was a three-sport athlete: football, baseball, basketball.
Wow.
And he even threw a no-hitter in baseball.
No way.
What can you tell us about how that diverse athletic background might have shaped his quarterbacking skills?
Well, it's not just that he was good at multiple sports. It's more like the specific skills each one kind of honed,
Yeah.
Like baseball, pitching especially, demands incredible precision.
Right.
And this ability to kind of predict a batter's reaction. And that translates right to the football field.
How so?
I mean, his throws are like fastballs.
Okay.
And his ability to read defenses, it's almost like he's predicting what the batter, so to speak, will do.
So it's almost like this extra layer of processing power that he has thanks to baseball.
Exactly. And then you've got basketball,
Yep.
which, requires super quick decisions in a really dynamic environment, not unlike navigating a collapsing pocket when you're playing football.
That's a great point.
And all these experiences, they probably instilled in him that instinct for spatial awareness and improvisation that you just don't see in quarterbacks who only play football.
That's interesting, yeah. It makes you wonder if those plays that we see on the field, those spontaneous plays, are actually calculated moves, all from his diverse athletic background. So then he goes to college at Texas Tech and explodes onto the scene. Breaks all sorts of records on offense.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like he was born to be a quarterback.
He certainly put up the numbers. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
But here's a detail that really stood out to me.
Okay.
Even while playing college football, he was also playing baseball at the same time.
Really?
As a relief pitcher, no less.
Oh, that's pretty rare.
How many quarterbacks can say they were juggling two sports at that high of a level?
Not many. That's wild. So what does that tell us about his mindset, though? I mean, was he just super gifted athletically, trying to keep his options open? Or was there something more strategic going on?
I think it speaks to a very deliberate approach to really honing his skills.
Yeah.
Remember, a relief pitcher comes into the game, in those high-pressure situations,
Right.
needs to shut down the opponent's momentum. And it's not just about throwing hard. It's about mental toughness, strategy, adaptability. And these are all qualities that would go on to define his success in the NFL.
So even back in college, he was unconsciously maybe preparing for the pressures of professional football.
Yeah.
Building that mental arsenal right alongside his physical talents.
I think so.
So now fast forward to the NFL draft.
Right.
He's picked 10th overall by the Kansas City Chiefs in 2017.
Okay.
Not a bad spot at all, but not the top pick either.
Right.
What made him such a desirable prospect, even if there were maybe some doubts about his decision-making early on?
Well, the potential, you just couldn't deny it.
Yeah.
The teams saw a quarterback who could make every throw, but also someone who could, keep those plays alive with his legs.
Yeah.
He was a true dual-threat quarterback.
What?
And remember, he wasn't just sitting around waiting for the draft.
What do you mean?
His Wikipedia page actually mentions he had the most private workouts and visits with coaches of any prospect that year.
Wow.
That shows a level of commitment and ambition that goes beyond just raw talent.
So even before stepping onto an NFL field he was working, he was shaping his own narrative.
Exactly.
Demonstrating his dedication to multiple teams.
Yeah, he wasn't just waiting to be chosen.
He was making himself impossible to ignore.
Exactly. It was all very calculated.
So then there's that rookie year where he sits behind Alex Smith.
Yeah.
Learning the system, watching a veteran quarterback.
Yeah.
It's like he was using that time to study the playbook, understand all those little nuances of the pro game before being thrust into the spotlight.
It was a crucial period for him, allowed him to kind of hone his decision-making, temper those gunslinger instincts with a more calculated approach.
And then when his opportunity finally came in 2018, Well, the rest is history.
It really is.
And what an explosion it was.
Yeah.
50 touchdowns, over 5,000 passing yards.
Insane.
He instantly becomes one of the elite quarterbacks in NFL history.
Oh, yeah.
But instead of just focusing on those numbers,
Right.
what was it about his game that really made him different? How is he different from all these other quarterbacks putting up big numbers?
Most guys with that kind of arm talent, they rely a lot on just improvising.
Yeah.
But Mahomes, he brought something else.
Okay.
It was almost like a chess-like approach to the game.
Interesting.
Let's look at his Week 2 performance against the Steelers that year.
Okay.
Down by multiple touchdowns.
Right.
He leads the amazing comeback throws for 6 touchdowns, including that no-look pass that everyone remembered.
I remember that game.
Oh, yeah.
It was like he was seeing the field in a totally different way.
It wasn't just about the highlights, though.
Okay.
He was manipulating the defense, understanding their tendencies, exploiting all their weaknesses.
Yeah.
It was a masterclass in calculated risk-taking. You know,
Like that.
blending those improvisation skills with a deep understanding of the strategy.
So even in those moments of what seems like spontaneity,
Yeah.
there's this underlying layer of calculation, this like premeditated brilliance.
Exactly.
And of course, that season, he wins the NFL MVP award.
Oh, yeah.
The first Chiefs player to ever do it.
Yep. It was like he'd skipped a bunch of steps in the typical development
Right.
and arrived fully formed.
But that MVP award,
Yeah.
it wasn't just about his individual brilliance.
Wow.
It was like the arrival of a whole new era in Kansas City. With Mahomes at the helm, the Chiefs became a real force.
Is this sure?
But what's even more impressive
What's that?
is how he kept evolving. He didn't just settle.
Right.
He wasn't satisfied with just one good season. He wanted to build the dynasty.
And that's where we'll pick things up after a quick break.
Yeah, sounds good. So he wins MVP in his first year as a starter.
Mm-hmm.
What's next?
Right.
Does he try to, like, replicate that incredible season? Or does he go a different route?
What's really cool is that he doesn't just try to do the same thing again.
Yeah.
He gets that to stay on top, you got to keep adapting.
Right.
Keep evolving. And that's what we see in the next few seasons.
So those championship years.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Super Bowl wins, Live, Hill, Philly 7, Philly 8, those are massive.
Oh, for sure.
But reading these articles, it wasn't always a smooth ride.
Right. And that's where I think people who just watch the highlights, they miss the real genius of Mahomes.
Okay.
It's not just flashy plays. He's winning by making smart choices, even when it means, like, giving up a highlight reel moment for something more strategic.
So he's not afraid to play it safe when he needs to.
Exactly. Take Super Bowl 57 against the Eagles.
Okay.
Close game, tons of pressure. Fourth quarter, instead of forcing throws, he focuses on moving the chains, controlling the clock.
Right.
Sets up the game-winning field goal.
Wow.
Really mature way to play the game.
It's like he knows that to win championships, it's not just about individual brilliance.
Right.
It's about making the right play at the right time.
Exactly.
Even if it means you're not the center of attention.
And then there are the comebacks.
Oh, yeah.
This guy just pulls out wins even when they're down big.
Yeah.
Like that ESPN article, that comeback against the Texans in the 2019 playoffs. Down 24-0 early in the second quarter.
Oof, that's a tough spot.
But Mahomes stays calm, gets the team going.
Yeah.
They end up winning 51-31.
That's mental toughness right there.
Absolutely.
But even Mahomes, he's not invincible.
True.
He did lose Super Bowl LV to Brady and the Bucks.
Yeah.
What was it about that game that tripped him up?
The Bucks, they were a different kind of challenge.
Okay.
Their defense was built to take away his first options, you know? So he had to hold on to the ball longer.
Right.
Which made him uncomfortable. They were pressuring him nonstop.
Yeah.
Messes with his rhythm, forces him to rush throws.
So it was more than just a loss. It was like a learning experience.
Absolutely.
Showed him some weak spots, forced him to adapt.
Yep.
Which brings us to this Sunday's game against Josh Allen,
Oh, yeah.
who a lot of folks see as the next big thing in the NFL.
It's a great matchup.
What makes this rivalry so interesting?
It's a clash of styles, you know?
Okay.
Allen is like that new generation of quarterbacks. Big, strong, mobile, arm like a cannon.
Right.
But Mahomes, he's turned into something different.
Interesting. So it's not just about physical ability anymore.
Right.
It's about the strategy outsmarting your opponent.
Exactly. Mahomes has this, like, sixth sense for reading defenses.
Really?
Like, he knows what they're going to do before they do it.
Wow.
It's like he's playing chess
Oh.
and everyone else is playing checkers.
Makes him hard to stop.
Oh, for sure. Even for a guy as talented as Allen.
So Allen has the raw power, but does he have that mental game to beat Mahomes?
That's the big question.
Yeah.
He's come close,
Uh-huh.
but he's lost 3 playoff games to Mahomes already.
Right.
This Sunday, this could be his chance, you know?
Take the crown.
Exactly. Classic changing of the guard story.
Right.
Allen wins. It's a new era in the NFL.
Yeah.
Mahomes wins. His dominance continues.
Talk about high stakes.
Yeah, but it's not just about what happens on the field, is it?
True.
All these sources, they paint a picture of Mahomes as someone building an empire.
Right. Beyond football.
Way beyond. We're talking about someone as sharp in the boardroom as he is on the field.
Give me some examples.
Okay, so he's got ownership in multiple sports teams. The Royals, Sporting KC, the Kansas City Current,
Wow.
even Formula One.
That's crazy.
Investing in tech companies, owns Whataburger franchises.
It's like he's building a whole portfolio alongside his NFL career.
And it's not just endorsements.
Right.
He's taking ownership, becoming a real stakeholder.
And then there's family life, too.
Oh, yeah.
That story about him doing a press conference with his kids, that was really something.
It shows a whole different side of him, you know?
Yeah?
Dedicated father, handling a crazy career and family life.
That makes him human, you know?
I think so.
Reminds us that even someone as accomplished as Patrick Mahomes still deals with everyday stuff. He's not just a sports icon. He's a husband, a dad, a businessman, a philanthropist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what makes his story so interesting. You know, he's breaking down those old ideas about what it means to be a successful athlete.
Yeah.
He's not just playing the game.
Right.
He's changing it, both on and off the field.
All right, so we've talked about his early days, his rise to the top, his business stuff, even his family life.
Yep, it's a lot.
What's the one thing you want listeners to really get about Patrick Mahomes?
That's a good question.
What makes him so unique?
Well, I think it comes down to this. He's a master of, like, calculated risk.
Okay.
You see it on the field with those no-look throws, those crazy scrambles off the field. It's his investments. You know, all his businesses.
Right.
He's not afraid to make big moves, but they're always thought out, you know?
So it's not just about talent.
Right.
It's this calculated approach to everything he does.
That's what makes him so tough to beat.
And it's working. I
Yeah.
mean, he's winning Super Bowls, building this business empire, and from what we've read, he's a great family man, too.
It's like he's found this perfect balance, you know,
Yeah.
ambition and, like, personal fulfillment.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's a paradox.
He's super competitive,
Uh-huh.
wants to be the best,
Driven.
but he seems grounded, too, you know?
Right.
Like, he knows there's more to life.
He's not chasing trophies.
Yeah.
He's building a legacy that goes way beyond football.
And that's what makes this game against Josh Allen so fascinating.
Oh, yeah.
It's more than just the AFC Championship.
It's a clash of philosophies almost.
Yeah, okay.
You've got Allen, raw power, instinctual,
Right.
and then Mahomes, the cerebral approach, you know.
Master strategist.
Exactly. And this game could define the next 10 years of the NFL.
That's crazy to think about.
I know.
So when you're watching this game, think about this.
Right.
Is this Allen's moment,
Yeah.
the passing of the torch,
Yeah.
the start of a new era?
A changing of the guard.
Or will Mahomes show everyone that being smart beats just raw talent?
That's the question.
And maybe we won't even know the answer after the game.
It's true.
Because even if Allen wins, even if things start to change.
Mahomes has already changed the game.
That's a good point.
He's proven a quarterback can be so much more.
Right.
He's a leader,
Uh-huh.
a strategist, a businessman, and a family man all at once.
So whether he keeps winning for 10 more years,
Right.
or this is the end for him.
One thing's for sure.
What's that?
Patrick Mahomes has made an impact
Yeah.
on and off the field, and it'll last for a long time.
He's not just a football player.
Nope.
He's a cultural icon, I guess.
He really is.
The symbol of ambition and brilliance.
And that's really the most interesting thing we've learned today, right?
What do you mean?
It's not just about winning games or championships.
Uh-huh.
It's about how he's changed what it means to be successful,
Holy.
like in today's world.
It's a reminder that sometimes the most amazing things aren't the highlight reel plays. It's the stuff that's planned out, strategic.
The stuff that builds a legacy that lasts.
Exactly. Well said. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive. I think we all learned a lot about Patrick Mahomes today.
I know, I did. It was great talking with you.
And to our listeners, thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time for another deep dive.